Ambition operates on a frustrating paradox. The more aggressively an individual chases a tangible external goal, like a specific net worth or a status symbol, the further that outcome seems to move away. Take the example of a modern striver named David. David operates on the assumption that speed is the primary driver of wealth. He views his goals as a sprint that can be won through sheer, uncalibrated force, believing that more activity always leads to more progress. This approach creates a high level of psychological friction. By fighting against the natural timelines required for skills and assets to mature, David experiences constant exhaustion. He burns through his mental reserves long before he reaches the milestones he's targeting. To reach high-level success, one has to move away from the hunt for external shortcuts. The focus must shift toward the invisible internal frameworks that actually dictate long-term outcomes. Every ambitious person eventually hits a plateau where effort no longer yields proportional results. This is often the moment of surrender, where the individual stops looking for tactical hacks and starts looking for foundational principles. In our story, David consults a mentor, expecting a literal map or a secret trade strategy. The mentor acts as a disruptor, ignoring David's request for capital and instead challenging his definition of what is actually valuable. The old man presses David's hands together and offers him two invisible treasures. This is a psychological shock. There is no immediate material payout, only the abstract tools David will need to build his own wealth from scratch. The lesson is that the most reliable advantages in a volatile environment are the ones that exist entirely within the individual. These internal assets remain stable, even when markets or circumstances shift. The first asset is time. Instead of a ticking clock, we treat it as a finite raw material that must be actively shaped into precise segments. Effective time allocation requires breaking hours into deliberate blocks. This is the investment required to produce real value. This disciplined approach stands in contrast to the reactive behavior David displayed earlier. When external demands dictate your schedule, your primary resource remains unpolished and yields very little. Time has a strict biological constraint. Unlike money, it cannot be saved or safely stored for later use. The balance drops to zero daily, regardless of how it is spent. This makes time the ultimate equalizer. It is the raw material from which all achievements are manufactured, provided the individual spends it with precision. However, perfect time management fails if the individual cannot handle the lag between effort and results. Most long-term investments don't provide immediate feedback. This is where the second asset, the pearl of patience, becomes necessary. Patience serves as a psychological endurance, allowing an individual to remain highly functional during a prolonged plateau. This chart highlights where most people quit. Effort rises steadily, but visible results stay flat. This gap, the endurance zone, is where psychological pressure peaks. Patience provides structural support here, preventing you from abandoning a sound strategy due to a temporary lack of progress. While time provides the foundation for success, patience ensures the system stays intact. It allows the daily work to continue unbroken, holding the line until the real-world results finally begin to catch up with the initial effort. When these two concepts are used together, they create a reliable method for managing progress. Time provides the daily input, and patience protects the long-term output. This demonstrates the mechanics of momentum. By focusing on the deliberate allocation of time and maintaining psychological endurance, the figure moves forward despite external challenges. This internal system helps absorb external shocks. When unexpected setbacks occur, the individual remains analytical. They recognize that the setback is a temporary obstacle that can be outlasted by consistent action. Few external forces can withstand the effect of compounded time, and very few failures are significant enough to break a person who has committed to staying the course. For strivers like David, this means the path to wealth is found less in the speed of the chase and more in these two internal disciplines. The prize is the result of how well those invisible assets are managed. Evaluate your own daily routine. How are you allocating your diamond today? Look at where your time is actually going and whether it is being invested in a way that will yield value. Real results take time to manifest. Maintain your focus on the daily work and keep your expectations grounded. Till then, stay patient, stay grateful, and keep moving forward in life.